Hello Internet, welcome to another video over on the PCGamesN YouTube channel. Ben Barrett here, joined by Mr. Matt Perslow.
Hello there.
And we're going to talk a little bit about Shadow of War and specifically the microtransactions. Now, before we get super into this, just a couple of things to say. One, Matt's actually played the game, believe it or not.
Yep, all the way through.
And he's given it a review, which you can go read over on the website. And indeed, we're into the Endgame now, and that's something that we're going to be discussing. Since we're discussing the Endgame, there's going to be some kind of visual, mechanical spoilers and that sort of thing. It's not like you'll know the entire plot of the game. We think this is necessary due to all of the drama that's going on with the microtransactions. So, first thing we're going to do is just talk about what you can get in the game and the marketplace where you buy this stuff. So, Matt, why don't you take us through this?
So, yeah, the marketplace, which can be accessed from the main menu. There's always kind of like a little, I guess, advert for that in the main menu.
Yeah, just says market and there's a little thing next to it.
And you can go in there and there are war chests that you buy from there. And basically there's war chests and loot chests. War chests have orcs in them and loots have gear in them.
So orcs form your army in the game and are part of the larger kind of nemesis system and all the kind of battles that you can get into, and then gear, which we're not going to be talking about too much in this video. We're really going to be focusing on the orcs because that's where a lot of the dramas come from. Is simply the stuff that Talion has equipped.
Swords, cloaks, stuff like that.
So both of these you do get all the way through the game. So how do I get these chests, man?
Right, so you go into marketplace basically, and there are different grades of chests. You've got silver chests, which can be bought with Mirian. Now, Mirian is the in-game currency. That is the sort of like coins that Talion will use to buy things. Yeah. They cost 1,500 Mirian per silver war chest. And in those are 2 orcs. One will also always be epic grade, but you could have up to 2. You won't get a legendary there. The other ones are gold and mithril chests. These cost gold. Now, gold is the premium currency, basically. This is what you have to buy. If you buy a gold chest, you're going to get 3 orcs in there, and 1 of them will be legendary grade, and 2 will be epic. And the mithril chests have 4 orcs in, but all of them will be legendaries. Okay,
so we've got two currencies here. One is a very standard in-game currency that you get for doing just about everything that you do in the game, and it cannot be bought for real money, right?
Nope.
And then there is another currency that is received from out-of-game activities. You get a little bit of it, just for like kind of starting the game, for owning the game. Probably you got a little bit in pre-orders, that sort of thing. You can also get gold via some in-game stuff to do with dailies, right?
Yeah, you can do daily challenges, as you can with so many games of this type. You won't get a lot of gold, but so for example, your quest today might be that you need to go and find 2 orc captains in a very specific zone of Mordor, and if you get those, you will get 50 gold.
So you might be wondering now, like, how does all of this tie into a game that is a single-player game with a campaign? So at the end of Matt's campaign, you had
52,701 of the Mirian currency, which is the free stuff that you get that you earn in game, and I also got given like a complimentary 500 gold, basically, plus a gold war chest and another war chest that had got cursed orcs in it.
Okay, cool. And all of that was to do with the fact that we were playing like a pre-ordered copy of the game, but none of this is stuff that we were given just for being press or that was given to us to show how the microtransaction system worked.
No,
this is all the sort of thing that you'll have either if you've pre-ordered or you buy a special edition or whatever. So you're going to have at least either what we had or maybe very slightly less. And all of the silver that we had, that is what you get just for playing the game. And it's not like you spend very much time grinding or you did all of the side stuff or anything like that. You kind of play, when you're trying to do a review, you sort of have to get through the game, and this is how much you ended up with, right?
I say all of the Mirian that I've got is just purely because I played the campaign from start to finish. That is, like, I had tons more during the campaign, it's just I spend it, right? But by the time I finished the campaign, after doing a regular amount of spending, importantly, I never once bought a loot chest in the entirety of my campaign. I waited until I got to the end.
Yeah, so we had this 52,000 built up because Matt hadn't actually spent it as he was getting it, as maybe you might do if you're playing the game. And also he used it during the course of the game on sieges. So there is sieges throughout the game that you have to do as part of the plot. And then there is also at the end of the game, it unlocks a mode called Shadow Wars, which heads towards the true ending, much like Batman Arkham Knight had, where you had to kind of do a load of side stuff to get there. And it also is just kind of a thing to keep doing if you are enjoying playing the game and enjoying interacting with the system. So how does all this work?
Right, so there are 5 fortresses in Mordor, and you by the time that you get to the end of the game, you will have all of those in your power. Sauron, he's known for being, kind of a nasty guy. He wants all of those back. The whole point is basically if you enjoy playing Shadow of War, you're probably going to want to just play this, what is essentially like a looping, endless sort of system of attacking and defending your fortresses.
Yeah, you'll play it for as long as you are interested in doing that.
Yeah. And obviously to do that, you need orcs.
Yes.
You need an army of orcs. Now, during your campaign, you will have picked up a vast variety of orcs that will be in your employ. Some of them will be special orcs. They will have like this epic or legendary kind of tier, which just means they are better than the other orcs. I will point out, not really by a massive amount. They might just have a special damage modifier, or they might be very, very good at doing a specific thing. But you will have that plus a bunch of normal orcs. So, for example, in my campaign, I actually finished with, I had 8 epic orcs and 3 legendary orcs that were ready to kind of go on the Shadow Wars campaign.
So it's not like the only way you can get these things is through loot boxes. They are out there in the world as you're playing through the game. You'll get them normally. And then, of course, now that you're in the end game, the entire idea is that while you're trying to build up towards these sieges, you can also go out and do all the cool Nemesis system stuff.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So you have to remember that the Nemesis system, makes up basically half of the game. Whilst you're doing the campaign, you've got story missions to do, but the other half of the things that you'll be doing is doing Nemesis stuff, which is going out and finding orcs and either defeating them, cutting their heads off and stealing their gear that they had, or recruiting them into your army. So all you're doing is just minusing out the campaign stuff and just carrying on purely with the Nemesis system. It generates quests, so there's constantly different dynamic quests that have been created in the world. You're going out and doing them and collecting orcs almost like they're Pokemon, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And it's not like you're just going out into the world and you need to go find a legendary orc and he could be anywhere and there's no direction or anything like that. It is all of these Nemesis quests that are created and are interesting and have, fully voice acted bits and little mini plots and that sort of thing. And no, it's not the world destroying, threatening stuff that is happening in the rest of the game, but it's the game. That's
yeah. This is where your rivalries are going to build up. You're going to have rival orcs that you're going to want to chase down through Mordor. Yeah. The way you do that is by going and finding the orcs that know about these other orcs and sort of like interrogating them, demanding to know where these orcs are. It's a massive core part of the game, and it's just that it's the purest part of the game, I guess, just as this constantly rolling end game system.
Yeah, like if you've got to this end game, presumably you have enjoyed the systems that are within the game itself, and therefore you will want to do more of it until you get bored. And if you get bored, you can stop playing. It's not like there is some competitive element, or you're going to end up as the world's best Shadow of War player and earning $10,000. So the entire point of this is that you're going out there to get other better orcs or to improve your army so that you can do these sieges.
And bear in mind to plot against the enemy as well. Obviously, the enemy AI have their own castles. And like what you'll be wanting to do is make sure that they don't have the siege equipment ready for when you break into their walls. So if they've got, let's say, 4 orc captains that are, 4 orc war chiefs that are manning their walls, you'll be doing all the tactical work. You'll be going and interrogating enemy orcs, finding out where the enemy war chiefs are, and killing them to make sure that they're not on the defense, or indeed capturing them to make sure you've got orcs to take in with you.
And even if you then do not want to do any of this, right, you just want to do your sieges and you want to get to the Shadow Wars ending as fast as possible, there is not some hours and hours of stuff that you have to go through. We went and did a siege right at the end of Matt's campaign. He had finished the campaign, and that was it, right?
Yep.
So we just had that 52,000 Miriam that he'd built up just through playing the campaign. You get that for doing lots of missions, and yes, you're going to get a load of that if you end up going and doing all this Nemesis stuff at the end of the game as well. And we did a siege, and it was hard.
Yeah,
it was fun.
Yeah. It was great because it was more challenging than they were in the campaign,
exactly.
And I enjoyed the challenge. But
it was doable.
Oh yeah, achievable.
And as far as we know, you just have to do a few of those. We looked at what the next one would be. It was a little bit harder again, but not hugely so. And yeah, that cost a little bit of Miriam to do.
Yeah.
That you would naturally kind of get if you did any part of the system thereafter.
Yeah. So Miriam is you're going to have a load of it from playing your campaign. Also, anything you break down, any of your gear that you don't want anymore, now you've got new ones, you break that down. Achieving victory in assaults will get you Miriam. There are a multitude of ways of getting it, and yeah, you spend it on beefing up your fortress to make sure it's ready. But yeah, other than that, it's important to point out that in that first siege, I only lost 2 orcs, I think.
Yeah, and then you captured some as well, and you could have got the legendary that was attacking you, but he was too high level, so you had to downgrade him, and then that creates a quest on its own, and you know this guy who came to your fortress and tried to mess you up. Okay, so that is the purpose that you're trying to get all of these orcs for, and that you might end up buying loot boxes to do. Now, you have two options, as we've been saying. Basically, you can either spend some money if you want, or you can actually play the game that presumably you've been enjoying up to this point, and you'll be gathering Mirian and be gathering orcs through that system anyway. So if you end up wanting to buy loot boxes with actual gold, so this is stuff that you will either get kind of daily and you won't have very much of it, or you can pay for it using the prices that you see on the screen now, this is what you will get.
We bought with the stuff that we got, and bear in mind this was what I got complimentary, so I was given complimentary 500 gold.
Again, we spent no money here at all.
To which I bought an Assassin's War chest, which was 240 gold. I got 2 epics and 1 legendary orc out of that were assassin types. I also bought a 260 gold Olog chest. These are the bigger, kind of more troll-like orcs, and got 2 legendaries and 1 epic out of there. So the RNG, I guess, was a little bit in my favour on that Olog chest, definitely. We then went and used a fair chunk. We spent...
Just over half, right?
Yeah, 30,000 of the Mirian of the 52,000 I'd originally got to buy 20 silver war chests. Now, all of these, they have 2 orcs in them, and one of them is guaranteed to be an epic. Out of those 20 boxes, 23 of our orcs happened to be epic, and the other ones were just generic standard grunt orcs. And so we also had some complimentary boxes that the game just gives you at the end of the game. That was a gold war chest, which had got 2 epics and 1 legendary in, and a cursed war chest, which means that the orcs have the cursed kind of elements to them. That had 2 legendaries and 1 epic in it.
And the interesting thing to note here is we did this, but we didn't use any of these orcs in any of the siege stuff we did afterwards. No. We didn't, we wanted to see what it was like if you just finished the campaign and then you went straight into the Shadow Wars thing and you started trying to, get to that final ending if that was what your target was. We didn't use any of this stuff, and we still managed to complete that first Shadow Wars siege. Pretty sure we could have done at least the next one, probably the one after that as well, and then maybe we would have got to the point where we were like, okay, let's upgrade our army with some of that currency that we've been earning all the way through the actual game. So until you drain all of that currency away from either buying loot boxes or trying to do these sieges and failing, I guess you would have to do, if once you've got rid of all of that, that is the point where you are then forced, so to speak, to go out and actually play more of the game and do all this Nemesis stuff to earn more Mirian and get more silver and all that sort of stuff. So after we bought all of that stuff, we still had 22,000 Mirian left. That was more than enough to do that first siege. It would have been more than enough to do the second one. After the third one, as I said, we probably then would have been at a point where we would have needed to get more Mirian from somewhere. And that is pretty much the entire system. So hopefully this gives you a much better overview of what you'll be doing at the end of the game. Again, we didn't ever come into contact with the loot box system through the campaign itself. Never used it at all, and never felt the need to, right?
No, not at all.
So it's only really in this massive endgame section where it's even come up as a thing that could possibly be a thing that maybe you would want to do. And even then, as you can probably see from this video, and hopefully you'll see during your own gameplay as well, if you pick the game up when it comes out next week, it's pretty minimal how much you need to actually interact with it, particularly if, you enjoy playing the game. Hopefully that's the case. Thanks so much for joining us. We'll see you next time.